Good evening. Baroness Lawrence took on the Daily Mail at the High Court today, a newspaper which once supported her campaign to find the murderers of her son, Stephen Lawrence. The paper ran this infamous front page, but Baroness Lawrence claims they were pretending to back her fight for justice for the credibility of supporting a black family. She accuses the Daily Mail's publisher of using private investigators to steal information about the Lawrence family and the investigation into Stephen's murder. Associated Newspapers denies the allegations and say their stories were based on legitimate reporting. Rags Martel reports.
She spent a lifetime fighting for justice for her murdered son. But today, Baroness Lawrence was in court taking on press intrusion. The Daily Mail once championed her cause with this headline, but now claims she was used and betrayed by the paper, who unlawfully intruded on her private life. She told the court, at the time it looked as if they were supporting us. They've used me and my son to give them credibility for supporting a black family. It was at this bus stop in Eltham in 1993 that a gang of white teenagers stabbed Stephen Lawrence and left him to die. His mother argues that her voicemail was hacked, bank account monitored and targeted with hidden electronic surveillance. At the time, she thought the police were leaking stories about her murdered son.
In her written statement to the court, Baroness Lawrence said she felt she'd been played for a fool for many years by the Daily Mail, adding that she cannot think of any act lower than stealing and exploiting information from a murder and from a mother who buried her son.
Prince Harry has led the headlines in this trial against the Daily Mail with a glittering support cast of singers, actors and politicians. But Doreen Lawrence claims could be the most reputationally damaging for the Daily Mail. Associated Newspapers, owners of the Mail and Mail on Sunday, entirely deny the accusations. Far from hacking, their lawyers argue, their articles used information that had already been made public. Baroness Lawrence only gave evidence for an hour, but decades of trust, she says, were undone in an instant. The case at the High Court will continue until March.
But Rags, the relationship between Baroness Lawrence and the Daily Mail is very different to that of the other claimants, isn't it?
That's right, Charlene. This feels very different from the royal or celebrity gossip that includes Prince Harry or Elton John. This involves the racist murder of Stephen Lawrence, and that really came across at the Royal Courts of Justice today. Baroness Lawrence believed the Daily Mail were on her side, building up trust with one particular journalist, and now feels that she was played, in her words, by the newspaper, with the Mail only covering it for their own credibility. Again, it's important to stress Associated Newspapers completely deny any unlawful activity, and they say they always used legitimate reporting and legitimate sources of stories.
OK, Rags, thanks very much. One of the teenagers from London, accused of murdering a man on the Isle of Sheppey, has told a court he hit the victim with a bottle and kicked him on the ground. Alexander Cashford was killed in August last year. The teenager said he and two others arranged to meet the 49-year-old because he was trying to get with a 16-year-old girl and thought it was wrong. All three denied charges of murder. A man's been charged with murder after a woman was killed in Willesden over the weekend. Police were called at around 4 p.m. on Saturday to reports of a stabbing on Pound Lane. Police say the 50-year-old victim and the suspect were known to each other. After this brazen smash and grab at jewellers in London, West London in fact, the leader of Richmond Council has told ITV News London that criminals have become emboldened by lack of visible policing. Shoppers watched in disbelief on Saturday morning as two men broke through a window and grabbed handfuls of jewellery. Here's our correspondent, Simon Harris.
Calling the police! Call the police!
It's the middle of the morning and a brazen smash and grab is underway at a jeweller's shop in Richmond. Once the sledgehammers have done their damage, the reinforced glass is peeled back. As one of the thieves tries to fill a bag, someone in the shop is fighting back. The other member of the gang is now struggling with the toughened glass.
Julas are in there.
The window finally falls away, revealing someone else in the shop frantically trying to clear the window of valuables. The commotion alerts other shopkeepers who bolt their doors.
Everyone was quite afraid and we started to shut the doors. I saw the two guys, the robbers, just running along the shop. Then a couple of friends next door, they tried to chase them, but they couldn't do anything. It was dangerous anyway.
Lorenzo, a cobbler, was one of those who joined the chase.
I heard a commotion, so I followed them. To get to the green by the fountain, there was a van, a white minivan parked there. So they got into it and drove off.
The van was later found abandoned. In Richmond today, it was hard to find anyone who hadn't seen the video, which ends with this comment.
No one's got the arms here, that's the trouble.
It's so violent. And of course, there's nothing you can do. You daren't intervene because they could have knives or guns or whatever.
It was too dangerous with the vicious sledgehammer, and they were angry already, I think, and hyped up.
I do shop there. Unfortunately, it's not safe anymore. We're not safe anymore.
The Liberal Democrat leader of Richmond Council said the shocking nature of the robbery reinforces fears that crime is out of control.
What we see is that people now feel emboldened to come out and commit this type of crime. And at the same time, we're seeing the police seemingly stepping back from having visible presence in communities. We're seeing that the mayor is closing front counters across the capital, for instance.
But that was dismissed by City Hall. A spokesperson for Sadiq Khan said the robbery was appalling, but the mayor was working closely with the Met Commissioner to revitalise neighbourhood policing and put more officers on the streets. Tonight, Scotland Yard said there had been no arrests. Simon Harris, ITV News, Richmond.
Next tonight, more than 100,000 people believe he's a superhero bus driver, but Mark Hahere's old employer disagrees. He was sacked for leaving his bus in Harlesden to chase a thief who'd stolen a passenger's necklace and the altercation that followed. A petition gaining widespread support is calling for him to be reinstated. Cafe Patter has more.
That's the old bus, isn't it? He may no longer drive the 206 bus.
That's one of the drivers I know, actually.
Wow. But he still has the respect of his former colleagues. June 2024 saw Mark's last ride on this route after he apprehended a thief who'd stolen from one of his passengers.
I think leapt on the girl getting on the bus, ripped her jewellery, came out of my bus here. The guy skipped across the road over here. I chased him across this road.
In Mark's mind, he was catching a crook, but his actions after he'd retrieved the stolen goods were seen by his bus company as unacceptable and a breach of company rules.
As I turned here, went to walk back to my bus, and he was at this side here. So I kind of noticed this sort of action. So I kind of swung around and I met him that way, with my right hand on the jaw here.
So he started to swing at you?
He started here, is where he kind of leapt this way, and I swung around and caught him like that way, on the jaw here.
Do you have any regrets? Do you regret ever hitting him?
Well, you see, I never wished that I didn't hit him. It was just an instinct thing. You know, it was just a sudden reaction to you being attacked. You know, you defend yourself.
After confronting the thief, Mark was arrested but soon released without charge. Despite being hailed a hero, he was later sacked by his bus company, a turn of events he never saw coming.
The thing that's really annoyed me is that they can see exactly what 99% of people have seen. They've all seen the reports, they've all seen the evidence, yet they still came to this conclusion that I was the guilty one.
In a statement, the bus company, Metro Line, said the Independent Employment Tribunal has upheld the dismissal as fair. The claimants breached road safety and company protocols designed to keep staff and passengers safe. Even though Mark's employment has now been terminated, online supporters want him back behind the wheels of the 206 bus. Kath Opata, ITV News.
A man's pleaded guilty to killing a university student after he hit her with his van on the Strand last year. 20-year-old Alia Mohammed, who was studying at King's College London, died on the pavement. Christopher Jackson admitted causing death by dangerous driving and 2 counts of causing serious injury by dangerous driving. He'll be sentenced next month. The owner of an XL bully dog which mauled a pensioner to death has told a court he thought poodles were more aggressive breed than his own. Ashley Martin denies owning or being in charge of the animals which killed Esther Martin at a house in Jaywick in 2024. It was one of the first cases to be charged after the ban on owning the dog breed came into force 2 years ago, as Russell Hookey reports.
As police break down the door of Ashley Warren's house in Jaywick on the 3rd of February 2024, 68-year-old Esther Martin lies motionless inside with fatal injuries. This video shows officers using tasers to stun the XL bully dogs, which refused to let them enter. Neighbours had heard Esther's screams, accompanied by multiple dogs barking as she tried to fend them off. The small house in Hillman Avenue was home to 10 XL bullies, 8 puppies and an adult male and female, which set upon Esther. Ashley Warren is on trial at Chelmsford Crown Court, accused of owning or being in charge of the animals when they killed Mrs. Martin. In its opening statement, the prosecution told the jury that Esther Martin was a slight woman of only 5'3" tall. It said she had mobility issues and that although she'd visited the property in Jaywick several times, she'd never been alone with the dogs. She had, however, told friends and family that she feared them, that they were big, boisterous and aggressive, and that she'd considered reporting the situation to police, but didn't want to be barred from the property as a result. On the day she died, Esther Martin agreed to look after the dogs at the house, while Mr. Warren went to London. In the words of prosecutors, it was an accident waiting to happen. Following a horrific mauling, Mrs. Martin sustained injuries to almost every part of her body and was pronounced dead at the scene. Ashley Warren was arrested at Clacton railway station and found in possession of a knife. The aspiring rapper claims it was to be used in a video he was making. He denies 2 charges relating to Esther Martin's death and one of possessing a bladed article in a public place, and the trial continues. Russell Hookey, ITV News in Chelmsford.
Still to come on the programme.
Harold Fry is on his way.
Mark Addy and Jenna Russell join me in the studio to talk about their new West End show. And
question, does a new month equal new weather? Answer, no, not really, but it's not all bad. I'll see you soon.
Now, over the next few months, college students will start getting offers from the universities they applied to, and at 1 sixth form in Newham, they're expecting another bumper year. London Academy of Excellence might be one of the poorest boroughs, but it rivals some of the country's top independent schools for getting pupils into A-list universities. So much so, it's been nicknamed the Eton of the East End. Helen Keenan has been to find out just how they do it.
Some children here can't afford new shoes, but will soon be walking through the doors with the most privileged at the UK's top universities.
And what about this one, if you know? If I apply it this way?
Dubbed the Eton of the East End, the London Academy of Excellence is a state sixth form in one of London's poorest boroughs. 23 pupils here have offers for Oxford. The majority of its students go on to university, and more than 80% head to Russell Group institutions.
I felt as though people from backgrounds like mine, I just never thought that Oxford was something that I could achieve.
A lot of people at LA are on free school meals, so they're quite disadvantaged. There's people that are care experience, there's people that have like refugee status.
But not every child in Newham can come here. You have to show you're on track for getting 8 GCSEs at the top end of grades. They get the extra coaching and support similar to what you would see in private schools.
I do understand that a lot of people in other secondary schools, other sixth form colleges will not have the same opportunities, and that can be bad for them. However, I really do think that it's important to be giving people from all sorts of backgrounds the same opportunity and the same privileges, or giving them equal access.
The school itself also gets private funding, including from Eton. That system of free schools has now been paused by the Education Secretary while the government reviews them, with fears many were undersubscribed.
We are vastly oversubscribed, and the reason why we're oversubscribed is because of what we can offer. So it would be excellent if more schools like LAE were open in lots of different parts of the country.
Would it be better to make sure that all schools had those advantages?
Ultimately, it would be the aim of LAE that, you know, all students did get that support. But I think the fact that LAE is here in Newham and is working with these young people really does raise the bar for everyone in the community.
Students here showing the next intake of pupils that no matter what your background, it is possible. Helen Keenan, ITV News.
Next, it was a beloved book, a movie, and now a West End musical.
I'm going to walk to Queenie Hennessy. I will keep walking and she must keep living.
So keep on walking, Mr. Fry.
This is The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, starring Mark Addy. And Jenna Russell is a new adaptation of the novel and is at the Theatre Royal Haymarket till April. And I'm so excited that both of you are here to talk about it. Thank you both so much for coming in. Now, it opened up for previews late last week, didn't it? Jenna, how's it going?
It's going brilliantly. And it's because we did the production before in Chichester. Yeah. We have a lot of new company members, but it's always nerve-wracking when you move from a very intimate little theatre where we were, the Minerva in Chichester, to the Haymarket.
Haymarket's huge.
But it's a beautiful theatre and it fits in there beautifully, doesn't
it? It really does, yeah. It feels like it's at home there,
Yeah.
really.
Oh,
nice.
that's lovely. Yeah. Well, Mark, you know, there'll be several people watching who've never read the book before. So tell us exactly what the story's about, because it's really quite poignant.
It is, yeah. Harold Fry is a recently retired chap who lives a relatively boring life with his wife, Maureen, played by Jenna.
Yeah.
And he gets a letter from a woman he worked with 20 years ago who's in a hospice. So it's basically a letter saying goodbye. Yeah. And he tries to write a response and can't post it because he's written such a poor attempt, a letter, that he decides to keep on walking. And as long as he keeps walking, she may keep living, is the idea. But he's travelling from South Devon to Berwick-upon-Tweed on foot.
Yeah. And it's about all the different people he meets along the way.
He meets a lot of characters on the way, and they sing their stories to him and change his way of looking at the world. So it's a beautiful thing.
It's incredible.
Thing.
I mean, Jenna, you're used to, you know, being in like huge musicals and performances. I think of you as being like a West End queen, almost.
I'll take
really.
that.
Yeah, you go. You can have that. But it's not sort of. I mean, it's got some beautiful pieces in it, but it's incredibly heartfelt, isn't it? And with your character, it's almost dealing with grief in a quieter way, I suppose.
Yeah, her journey is much is a subtler thing, I guess. She's just at home, kind of working out how she feels about everything. But you know, we meet up at the end. We only have we have limited time together on stage.
Yes, we bookend it really, don't we, at the beginning.
But it's so beautifully written, and like Mark says, the story is so lovely, and it's just about second chances and.
That's really beautiful.
Moving forward, yeah.
But I mean, it's not even your second chance doing a musical, Mark. It's your first chance of doing a musical. I can't believe you've not done a musical before.
Yeah, I've never really. It's never been something that's come my way. But I read this and was just gripped by the script and the music by Passenger. He's written these incredible songs. I was totally blown away.
But of course, I mean, you'll be able to learn a lot from our West End queen.
Oh, yes.
In terms of, you know, performing in musicals.
He doesn't need to learn anything. He's perfect.
I worship at the altar of her talent.
And I worship at your altar too.
Now, the writer of the book, Rachel Joyce, has she had much input in what it is? And is it quite nerve-wracking, sort of doing a show when the writer is there and... I don't know, the novel, because it was such a huge novel.
It was a huge success, but Rachel was in rehearsals with us and would be so unprecious about her work that she used to be an actress, so she understands that theatre needs certain things that, you know, so it was willing to work with us and create this magnificent thing.
Now, Jen, I do have to ask you, obviously, it's absolutely wonderful working with the wonderful Mark Addy.
Yes, it is.
But you're also going to be working with, like, Ariana Grande, aren't you, soon?
I'm not. Hilarious. Unless you know something I don't know. Ariana Grande is playing Dot in Sunday in the Park with George, which the last time it was on in London, which was 2006, I played Dot in Sunday in the Park.
That's where that is. So has she been calling you for some advice?
She has. I can't get her off the blower.
No. I imagine she's just blowing up your WhatsApp.
She will be amazing. It's an inspired bit of casting. That she really will be amazing because she's funny and she's warm and all the things that she is.
I mean, you've been doing musicals and theatre for so long. Do you both still enjoy it as much as you always have done?
I love it. I mean, how is it for you? Because I think musical theatre actors are a different breed.
They are, and it's it's been a real revelation for me. I've had to really put some hard work into this to keep up with these guys because they're like athletes. It's extraordinary.
Well, life is all about new experiences.
Exactly.
Isn't it? Well, Mark and Jenna, thank you both for joining us. Thank you. But actually, we've got Sally with you. I mean, you love a musical, Sal, don't you?
Oh, I do. I got so many I want to see, so many on the list. And actually, I'm talking about music tonight because last night was the Grammys.
And the London ladies smashed the Grammys. I'm so proud of all of them, I tell you.
They really did. They're so annoyingly young as well.
No, nothing wrong with being young, young lady.
Oh,
You're still young at heart.
Yes, very young at heart, just not quite so young in real life. Anyway, they've done it incredibly well. And I'm happy to say, I really love their music as well. Let's have a look at some of London's winners at the Grammys.
The Grammy goes to Olivia Dean.
Tears from one, and
I very much relate to this song, Messy, Lola Young.
Utter disbelief from the other. But two Londoners meant two huge scoops at the Grammys last night.
Looks like we're making up for lost time.
From Hyams Park, Olivia Dean took home Best New Artist, and Lola Young from Croydon won Best Solo Pop Performance for Messy.
'Cause I'm too messy, and then I'm just too damn clean.
Both Londoners gave their own version of a massive thank you.
That I'm very, very grateful for this. Nick, we did it, Mum, I love you, everybody.
But Olivia Dean also had a point to make.
I guess I want to say I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. I'm a product of bravery, and I think those people deserve to be celebrated.
London, however, isn't all that these two have in common. They both went to the Brit School in Croydon, a free school whose alumni include Amy Winehouse and Adele.
They really focused on being the best musicians they possibly could be. They always wanted to write their own stuff, whether that was poems in English. They both loved English at Brit School. And it kind of was apparent that we were dealing with like fantastically hard-working musicians who are likely to fly, and they have flown.
And speaking of flying, Cynthia Erivo from Stockwell won Best Pop Duo with Ariana Grande for Defying Gravity from Wicked. Olivia and Lola both performed last night, and hopefully they'll be home soon for a second celebration.
Now, speaking of musical talent, we have got a sad update on a friend of the programme, a gentleman called Nathaniel Dye, who sadly, I'm sorry to say, has passed away. Nathaniel, you may remember, was a music teacher from East London, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 bowel cancer. But since that diagnosis, he raised thousands of pounds for charity. Here he is at the London Marathon.
I finished London Marathon whilst playing the trombone with cancer in 3 places and a colostomy bag.
So last year he was awarded an MBE for raising awareness about cancer and campaigning for improvements to the NHS. 3 words, I think, Charlene. What a legend.
I know, and we're sending all of our love to Nathaniel's family and friends.
Weather?
Yes, please.
I'm afraid it's a bit doom and gloom.
Oh.
I know. It's not particularly nice tomorrow. Hang on in there. It's better on Wednesday. Let's take a little look.
Come rain or shine, Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello again and a very good evening to you. Oh, it's just still a bit grey out there, isn't it? And tomorrow it turns damper and chillier too. But all our hopes lie in Wednesday this week, which promises at the moment to be drier and, all being well for some, a bit brighter as well, before we go back to grey old conditions on Thursday and Friday, and maybe a bit unsettled as well. It's a bit changeable, so we're keeping an eye on it for you. Right, for this evening, those showers edge north. It dries up for a time, but we do see that cloud thickening once again and some patchy rain starting to arrive from the south. It's also going to be a little bit cool tonight with those temperatures coming down to those low to mid single figures. So yes, a slightly cool start tomorrow, and for some of you it will be damp. As the day goes on, that rain and drizzle is going to become a little bit more persistent, so looking a bit miserable tomorrow. The breeze is also due to pick up as well, particularly at the coast. So those temperatures are going to reach highs of 6 to 7 degrees, but with the conditions, with any wind and cloud and that rain as well, it could well feel closer to 1 to 4 degrees, so worth having a decent coat tomorrow. If you're heading out tomorrow evening, I'm afraid that rain is still lingering. It does eventually clear off out of the way, things dry up, we're left potentially with some mist and fog around in a few spots, but Wednesday does look drier, as you can see, and hopefully we'll get some sunny spells coming through, particularly the further south you live. We'll just have to watch and see if that cloud clear is a bit further north too, before that greyness returns for Thursday and Friday. That's it for now. I'll see you later on. Have a great evening. Cheerio.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Well, that's it from us. Evening News is next with Mary. But for now, from all of us on the London team, enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.